Hi there, I'm Gertrude and thank you for being here. I'm really happy you're on this page because that means you've already chosen to be here, and it means that you are someone who is interested in learning more about self-love, self-renewing, self-care, self-matters and all of that. So before we get into what all of that means, first of all we need to bust some myths. And one of the biggest myths about this whole self-care thing is that it's only for people who have nothing else to do. People will often say that to me, but self-care doesn't really apply to me because, it's only for people who have nothing else to do with their time. It's for people who lie in spas all day long, or go and get their hair done every day, or get their nails done, or things like that. That could not be further from the truth. That is not what self-care is about. Yes, you may decide to do some of those things as a treat or as a pampering to yourself when you truly love yourself, but just because you do those things now does not mean you care for yourself truly, and there is a huge difference. The other myth that we need to banish is that self-care is something about, literally you being up your ass, or you being full of yourself, or somebody who is very selfish and, domineering and inflexible and just, it's all about me type attitude. Again, that couldn't be further from the truth. When I was growing up, I had never even heard of the word self-care, as I'm sure many of you didn't. It was all about hard, pushing yourself hard, trying harder, working harder. That's all you ever heard from teachers, from parents, from other family members. You had to try and prove, your self-worth or your self-esteem. You had to try and prove that you were worthy of love by working so hard, or trying to achieve things, or accomplish things, or getting things done perfectly, or getting them done better than the next person. That is not self-love, that is self-punishment. I took all of that and I just ran with it for my life, through college, through work, through study. I just had to push myself harder and harder and harder. The harder I pushed, the worse I felt. I burnt myself out. I became very unwell. I was extremely unhappy. I was very lonely. I felt very down and depressed and unmotivated. I felt there was no one I could talk to. I felt no one understood what I was going through. So the further I developed my own self, this whole new world opened up, and I truly learned that taking care of myself was the only way, because I mattered. I mattered. I never knew I mattered. Nobody ever told me I mattered. And that doesn't mean I didn't have a family who loved me. Yes, they loved me. But until you feel that love, and until you can express how you feel within you, none of that really makes any difference. So self-preservation, self-kindness, self-respect, self-worthiness, all of these things are the foundation of a true and happy life. I found out the hard way. I loathed myself for years. I hated myself. I hated everything about myself. No wonder I felt so crabby and crappy and unwell and unhealthy. For heaven's sake, I was young. I was in my early 20s. I wasn't living life to the full. I hated life most of the time. Life was difficult. Life was hard. I had to learn, and it takes years and years and years of practice to start doing things for yourself. And I know that may sound odd to some of you who are listening to me, but that is the truth. I hear it every single day from people that I work with. And age doesn't matter, whether you're in your teenage years, whether you're in your 20s, your 50s, your 60s, your 70s, or 80s, it doesn't matter. Looking after yourself is so important. And I'm not talking about eating well. I'm not talking about, getting to bed early in time, or doing your deep breathing or exercising or any of those things. I'm talking about you being nice to yourself, kind to yourself, compassionate to yourself, listening to yourself. I'm talking about your emotions, your feelings, your behaviours, your patterns, your attitudes, your thoughts. Everything in your life starts with your thoughts. So whether you like yourself or not, that's a thought. And then you go on to do things to reflect how you think. So when you repeat this self-loathing, this self-hating, this, self-perfectionism, day in, day out, you will become unwell. Because I did, and I know thousands of other people who have done. Because it's self-punishment. It's just you being so hard on yourself. I never thought this day would be here where I am sitting here in front of a camera talking about this and spreading this message to the world, to people across the globe who I have no idea who they are. I don't know who you are, but I know I can help you. And I know that because I have lived this for years. I struggled with liking myself, never mind loving myself. It is not something that's easy to do. It's not something that comes natural to us because we are not born with a manual. We're not told this is what you need to do in day 1 and day 2 and 10, and when you get to 18 years of age, this is what you need to be looking out for. We're not taught that. We're taught to get on with things, make the best of things, and absolutely they are important because there are times when we just need to get on with it. But if you don't like yourself and if you don't treat yourself well, then it's going to affect every single area of your life, whether you realise it or not. Your relationships, your parenting, your work, your career, your family, everything depends on how you treat yourself and how you think of yourself. All of those things are so important. I know I can help you and I want to help you. And it isn't that difficult. All you have to do is want to change. And when you want to change something, it then becomes much easier. Yes, it's going to take discipline. Yes, it's going to take practice. Yes, it's going to take falling off that stool, getting back up and taking it on board. That's what it's about. It's about making the best you can every day by being true to yourself. That's the difference. It's being true to yourself. It's listening to yourself. It's loving yourself. It's being kind to yourself. It's putting yourself first. And that is not about being selfish or arrogant or up your own ass. That is about you truly being the best that you can be. And the better you are, the more you can then share that with your family and your friends. So let's say you're doing a daily action, you're driving along in your car and you're thinking about, nice things about yourself. You're encouraging yourself, you're praising yourself, you're looking forward to the next thing you're going to do to yourself. I guarantee you, the next person that you meet, you are going to have a smile on your face. You are going to want to meet them. You are going to be able to share some of this with them. That's how it works. Because the more you give yourself, the more time you give yourself, the more energy you give yourself, the more you matter, the more other people in your life matter too. I know it can take a while to get your head around that, but please believe, you have got to believe that you matter. And when you believe that and you take that on board, then all of the other little things start to fall into place. I put together everything I do for you because I really want to make a difference in your life. There is no need for us to be punishing ourselves and being so hard on ourselves. It does not have to be difficult. That is one thing I learned. It actually can be very easy, as I said, when you want to do it. So please, have a scroll down to the page, read it, you'll get all the information about it, how to sign up and what you have to do. It is so simple. It is a tiny investment in your future and your happiness and in your health and your well-being. Look after yourself, and most of all, believe in yourself. Have a fantastic day. Bye bye.